amongst this fan base at least, your development over the year, and then to end it like this, basically trying to carry the team in the second half. What has been your process, and how do you feel about your year overall and heading into next year?
I say shout out to the coaches and the players for, taking me in and helping me develop my game. I was familiar with, Coach Lloyd and, the culture, and just to have a fresh start kind of seemed like. And, they did a great job at helping me achieve my goals, but, still got next year and, just love these guys.
Any final questions for the student athletes? All right, Amar. Jaden, thank you. All right, we'll open up for questions for Coach Lloyd. Right here in the second row.
Jordan Mendoza, USA Today Sports. Coach, wasn't the best night shooting from beyond the arc, but you guys were able to do a lot in the post. Were you trying to get your guys to drive more in and stop taking so many three-point attempts?
Yeah, I thought Clemson did a good job and kind of got us on our heels offensively early in the game, and we settled for a lot of tough shots. And then that's what kind of allowed them to get out, because I think our defense was actually okay early, and it was kind of low scoring early, and we're right there. And then they got it going offensively a little bit, and we just never quite did until later in the first half. And yeah, in the second half we made a more concerted effort. We wanted to attack those guys, move the ball, attack, drive closeouts, play with our feet in the ground in the paint, and our guys did a much better job of that in the second half.
Any other questions for Coach Lloyd? We'll go to the back.
Brian Peterson, Easy Desert Swarm. When you were able to make the run to start the second half, briefly take the lead, and then Clemson kind of punches back, gets up, and then you tie it again, did it just feel like you had enough punches to just keep and maybe push them aside?
I thought we were fine. We didn't play well to start the game. We're only down 8 at half. As you guys, that followed us closely, we've had a couple other games where we've been down 19 or 20, and been able to come back and win them. So I thought we were fine. I thought we were well positioned for how we started the game, and we made that first run in the second half, which is great. And from there, they're going to probably make a little run, but then hopefully it's a little one, and then we make the next run, and we can kind of eventually build a 4, 6, or 8 point lead, and we just were never kind of able to do that. And so Clemson gets a ton of credit for that.
Go ahead here in the front.
Coach John W. Davis with the Orange County Register here in the Los Angeles area. You out-rebounded them, scored more points in fast break, second chance, points in the paint, like all of these things that you normally see when teams win.
Yeah.
Other than maybe the shooting percentage, what do you feel like was the difference?
Well, you're right, it's the shooting percentage. I think our starting guys that shoot threes were 2 for 23. Which is a lot to overcome, and I feel like some of them were good looks and shots we've made all season, and today they just didn't go in, and so I think our guys deserve a ton of credit. To have that sort of shooting night and to get yourself in the game where you have a position to win it, I think is incredible, and it just shows the resiliency and the toughness of these guys, and we kind of had to adjust plans, and our guys were willing participants in that. So I'm really proud of them for giving themselves a chance to win, because, especially without JB playing the way he did, maybe we lose by 14, 16 points. But JB got in there, and, that we were down to the last minute and gave ourselves a chance. So on a night where we didn't shoot the ball well.
We'll go to the third row.
Yeah, Tommy, Steve Rivera, allsportstucson.com. When you have a chance to reflect on this year, what do you think will come to mind for yourself?
It's love. I love these guys. I love the culture we're starting to really build upon, at Arizona. I feel like, I'm real big on, eventually getting some compound return on our investment, and I think we're going to get that. I think we're doing all the right things. Obviously we're not perfect, and no one is, and we don't ever want to be perfect. We just want to be making progress. So I love where we're at. I think, I wasn't ready to take a breath, but I'm going to take a breath. And then, we'll reevaluate, and we're going to have another really good off season and continue to build.
Go ahead, second row.
Coach Saul Bookman, PHNX Sports. Keyshawn and Caleb, provided a lot for your team this year. when you take a step back and look at their production and what they contributed to this program, what is your ultimate takeaway going to be?
I mean, they're incredible guys. I'm just so thankful that they took a chance on coming to Arizona and play for our staff. I mean, it was an incredible experience, all off season and season long. So I'm just thankful. I mean, it reinforces to me that you can do things the right way, run the right culture, and put your team in position to compete at the highest level. So we're just going to double down on all that, and those guys reaffirm my belief that we need to continue to do it with great high character guys.
We have time for 2 more questions. For those of us joining on Zoom, use the raise hand function. Anybody here in the room? We have one in the back.
The last few possessions defensively, I believe that Umar was out. Was that partly to avoid if they were to foul him, and then did it just lead to like a breakdown?
Not necessarily. We were just trying to give it a different look. We're trying to pick up our pressure up the court a little bit, and you're at that point you're hoping maybe you get opportunistic with a loose pass, and someone can break on that. I mean, just things of that nature. We're kind of probably going to be in a little bit more of a pressing mode, and maybe going to switch all 5 positions instead of the 4 positions. And but hey, into Clemson, kind of they found an answer down the stretch, and they were able to get I think maybe 3 baskets off slips, versus the switches, which we just didn't execute well enough, and they get credit for executing.
Any final questions?
All right, that was the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, Tommy Lloyd, last night, along with Umar Ballo and Jaden Bradley, after the Wildcats were eliminated from the NCAA men's basketball tournament, 77-72. Any thoughts on what you heard there? 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I'll give you our question of the day a little bit later on as well. The ultimate question, though, is what's it going to take? What's it going to take for this program to get over this hump, this Sweet 16 hump, get back to the Elite Eight, and potentially get to the Final Four? That's the big question, because it's now been 24 years that the Wildcats have not been able to accomplish this in this basketball program. What is it going to take? Brody Dryden will join us next. We'll get you set for Arizona baseball tonight against UCLA. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions reported, La Cholla, south of Star Pass, Speedway, east of I-10, 22nd Street in Alvernon, slowing at that intersection and also clearing Kolb Road and Golf Links. Traffic picking up westbound I-10 near Ruthroff. 55, the low. Wind advisory tomorrow from noon to 10 p.m. with 81 as the high tomorrow. On Sunday, 80% chance of rain, 57 the high. Breezy, 83 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print Big Sale means the more you print, the more you save. Get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. Offer ends 4/6. See staples.com/print for details. Print more, save more at Staples.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
It's a party 100 years in the making, and all of Tucson is invited. Saturday, March 23rd, starting at 11 a.m., we'll kick off our 100-year anniversary party at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Along with a Chevy Classic Car Show, there'll be food trucks, balloon twisters, a caricature artist, and much more. Our cake cutting ceremony will start at 5 p.m., and our prize cutting, well, that's been going on for more than a century. So put it in your cell phone for the 23rd and see us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall, or go to O'Reilly.com for more details. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Want to support a nonprofit that helps youth and adults in the most challenging moments of their lives and save hundreds of dollars on your Arizona taxes? Donate to Intermountain today and receive a dollar-for-dollar tax credit and support their work for their more than 20,000 at-risk individuals each year. To make your gift and for more information, visit intermountaincenters.org. Intermountain, serving Arizona's health need for 50 years.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Celebrate the grand opening of Champ's Kitchen and Bar with exclusive $5 specials now through April 8th. Score $5 pizzas, $5 burgers, and $5 pitchers. Catch all the action at Champ's Kitchen and Bar at 7625 North La Jolla Boulevard before it's too late.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Brian Peabody.
My biggest thing is get back. If you don't get back in transition D, you'll never play.
I got one of your former players at Greenfields here.
Player is very generous. I was not a player. I was just a guy who sat around on the bench. I was on your second team back in '92, way back when.
We didn't have a second team. We only had 6 players. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. And I wasn't even good enough to be on that rotation. So there you go.
Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Arizona baseball back on the diamond tonight at High Corbett Field. It'll be a 7 o'clock first pitch. Wildcats and the Bruins. You'll hear it here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Brody Dryden will be on the call tonight, and he joins us right now. He'll also be on the call tomorrow. We were hoping we would be able to give Brody the day off on Saturday and have Arizona men's basketball for you, but unfortunately that did not transpire last night. So Brody gets to work 2 days calling baseball this weekend. Brody, were you at the game last night though? I know you didn't call it, but were you at the game last night?
No, wasn't at the game. You know, I was watching basketball at first. Watched baseball from the couch to make sure I'm all caught up. But yeah, I'll be there for the next couple nights, or tonight and then tomorrow afternoon. And it's always an honor to sit in and fill in on the radio. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so let me then get your thoughts from your couch on what you saw from Arizona men's basketball. We'll start there.
Oh, well, you know, it was a disappointing end to a really fun season. I mean, this was a special team. We saw it at times where, you know, Caleb Love as the Cats leader would, you know, go off for amazing games. And it seemed like this team was unstoppable. And at times they sort of were, you know. The Wildcats were ranked at number 1 in the polls for some time. A lot of people had hope, like Charles Barkley, I think, was one of the national pundits that had Arizona going all the way and winning the championship in his bracket. I did too. You know, we saw that the ceiling of this team was seemingly endless, but unfortunately the floor was pretty low as well. And I think that's what we saw yesterday against Clemson. I mean, it was such a fun season, a mix of. I feel like this Arizona team had that mix of transfers, guys who have been around for years, and developed within the program, some fun freshmen. It was kind of a good look at where college basketball is at right now with all those things coming together. So it'll be too bad to see some of these guys go out on a game like that where it seemed like the team couldn't hit the ocean with a basketball if they tried. But I think the Sweet 16, while this team had championship hopes, the Sweet 16 is still an accomplishment itself. So I don't think they should be hanging their heads too low.
Brody, you've been around and you've been watching this program all of your life, I would imagine. You've seen a lot of Arizona men's basketball games. Let me ask you, how old are you now?
I'm 25.
25. So you probably don't remember much about the last Final Four, I would think, right?
Nope. I was probably watching, but didn't realize what was going on at about 2 years old. So I haven't seen the Cats in a Final Four, and I thought this year would be the year. But I've seen the Elite Eight before, seen some great teams in the tournaments in the past few years. I remember, it was back in 2011, the Elite Eight with Derek Williams and all those great players, and being in McHale when the fans would kind of come together and welcome the team back from the bus and, give them an applause, an ovation, and a job well done for a great season. So have experienced some fun seasons, some wins, obviously, in the past 20 years. But unfortunately for my generation, the stories of Final Fours are only stories and nothing we've experienced yet.
Yeah, it's like, again, that goes to the fact that there's a generation of fans now, and you're in that generation that have no idea what it's like for this team to make it to the Final Four. I mean, all those trips came obviously between 89 and 2001. That's essentially a 14 to 15 year stretch during the Lute Olson era. But we've now got a generation of Arizona Wildcat basketball fans that don't know what that feels like to get to that point. Brody, you're going to be on the call of Arizona baseball this weekend. You had a chance to see this team a few weeks ago for the home opening series in the Pac-12 conference. What were your thoughts that weekend in the games that you saw about this team? It seems to be just from the surface a team that can pitch. We saw last night they've had a lot of struggles on Friday night scoring runs. But last night, obviously, the opening night of the series on a Thursday this week, they finally were able to break through and win one of those tight games that they had been losing the last couple of weeks in Pac-12 conference play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a little bit strange to say that the most consistent part of Arizona's team this year has been their pitching, because I feel like for the past few years it's been the opposite.
Right.
Where the offense can explode any given night, but then the trick was to, how low can you keep the other team? But so far in Pac-12 play, Arizona's pitching has really been lights out. After last night's game, it's been 8 straight consecutive games now where Arizona's pitching staff has kept Pac-12 opponents at 4 runs or less.
Wow.
And now that's Pac-12 opponents.
Yeah.
They had that New Mexico State loss earlier this week where the Aggies did a lot of offensive work at High Corbett. But Chip Hale will say, Kevin Vance is his new pitching coach, and he's come in this first year and really helped these guys. Looking at the starters, the typical starters, Jackson Kent, Clark Candiotti, and Cam Walty, they've given Arizona some fantastic starts, and they've put them in position to win a lot of games. I mean, the Wildcats have a losing record right now at 11-13 overall, but in Pac-12 games, they're at an even 500, 5 wins, 5 losses. And I think that with the pitching staff kind of doing everything they can to put the team in position, those wins are going to start racking up, and the Wildcats are going to have a chance to, bring their season back to a winning record here soon, because as we've seen, it's not as consistent as they needed to be. But Arizona's got offense. I mean, Mason White and Garen Caulfield, the two middle infielders, they are, maybe not the biggest guys in stature. If you judged a book by its cover, you wouldn't think that they're big home run hitters, but they're two of the best home run hitters in the Pac-12. And we saw Garen Caulfield with a home run last night. And then obviously Brendan Summerhill had the walk-off home run last night in the 10th inning to give Arizona the win. So, I mean, there are guys on this team that can put some hits together. They can hit it out of the ballpark, but it's just about finding that consistency. And as the season rolls along, I think they're getting a lot more comfortable and getting closer to where they need to be.
Brody Dryden is joining us. He's going to be calling Arizona baseball this weekend here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Game tonight at 7 o'clock, game tomorrow at 1 to wrap up the pre-Easter series with the UCLA Bruins. Final time we'll see the Bruins here in Tucson as members of the Pac-12, and obviously it has been a rivalry on the baseball field as well throughout the years. In terms of these batters, you mentioned Brandon Summerhill obviously got the big hit. It's interesting. Chip kind of made a little bit of an adjustment with the lineup. Brandon was kind of leading off, and now he's kind of moved down to the middle of the order. They flipped Richie Morales into that spot. What's been your impression of this infield with Morales at third, White at short, and then Caulfield over at second base? What's kind of been your impression, what you've seen from them, both offensively and defensively in the games you've seen?
Absolutely. I mean, defensively, first of all, it seems like Arizona's just so set in that middle infield with Garen Caulfield at second base, Mason White at shortstop. Anytime a ball ends up going in their direction, it seems like if it's playable, it's going to be taken care of. You don't see a lot of errors over there. And then, over at third base, Richie Morales is a guy who's getting a lot better at the hot corner. Offensively, that's the thing about this team that's unique. They're maybe not the most athletic looking team or biggest looking, but a prototypical home run hitter. You think of a big, I don't know about, Ryan Howard type of professional ball player, but
right.
These guys might not be that giant, beefy, prototypical baseball player, but everyone's got the ability to take it out of the ballpark and even just hit for contact and keep things in the ballpark. I think Garen Caulfield has definitely been a leader for this team. Now he's one of the most experienced guys in a Wildcat uniform, and he's not only leading as one of the more experienced guys, but with a home run last night, and he's just had a successful year hitting the ball overall. And then Tommy Splain at first base, I don't think he comes up often enough, but he's another guy who's been around for many years, and he's just so solid at that first base bag, making defensive plays whenever they come over to him. And it seems like this infield really has great chemistry with one another.
Brody Dryden joining us, Arizona broadcast graduate. You graduated in 2021, is that correct, Brody?
Yep, correct, 2021 from Arizona School of Journalism.
Okay, so what have you been doing with yourself since you graduated, young man?
Oh, kind of all over the place. It was great to be a part of the Arizona women's basketball broadcasts a couple seasons ago, doing play-by-play. Learned a ton there and hosting the Adia Barnes radio show. That was a great time a couple of seasons ago. Also been hosting the Arizona football pregame show that we've been doing for the past few years that you can listen to right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. So that's been great. Also been, in the public relations field, doing things like that, different broadcast stints wherever I can find. I mean, one of my favorite gigs that I've done the past few years is with the Tucson Saguaros and calling baseball games for the Tucson Saguaros, playing over at High Corbett. And unsure if I'm going to be back on the mic for this season, but I know that season is going to be starting up again this summer not at High Corbett. That's going to be at Keno.
Yeah.
and so that's been great. Some professional baseball coming back to Tucson and being a part of that's been really fun.
You forgot one. You worked here at this station for several years as well.
Well, yeah.
That was during college, right?
That was during college.
Yeah.
I feel like 2021 was about the time my stint at 1290 ended. But yeah, you're right, JW. I'm sorry for forgetting that. My fondest of memories.
You moved on, bigger, better things. It happens.
Do you have a do you have a signature home run call yet, Brody?
No, I feel like some good advice I've gotten is to not necessarily try to have some kind of shtick that tries to make you stand out when it's not actually going to be that good. It's more like the shock value. So I try to I switch it up every time, whatever kind of comes to me. And I guess you'll have to tune in to find out what I do tonight, right?
There you go. Hopefully we got a whole bunch of home runs for you to call this evening.
Yeah.
That would be good for sure.
I would not mind.
I was here in this chair when Brody did his first ever series, and the first game, DK, was a walk-off.
Oh, yeah.
Brody got to call a walk-off
Nice.
the first time he filled in, and I was back here at the station producing. That was like 5 years ago, something like that.
Awesome.
But yes, I have heard a Brody Dryden walk-off call in the past.
Well, let's hope we get one or two, preferably two more. 3 walk-offs in a row. We'd be going crazy about this baseball team. All right, it's the Wildcats and the Bruins. Wildcats 5-5 in Pac-12 play, 11-13 overall. A couple more wins this weekend can get them back to 500 and set up on the right way back to potentially putting themselves in an NCAA conversation. Brody Dryden on the call. Coverage begins at 6:50 p.m. Brody, have great broadcast this weekend. We'll be listening.
DK, J-Dub, thanks for having me. Talk soon.
Absolutely. Brody Dryden, U of A broadcasting graduate 2021. Be sure to catch out those games this weekend.
I'm kind of good at my job.
How's that?
Do you want to hear Brody Dryden's walk-off call
absolutely.
on the 4/28/2022 versus Nevada?
Yes, let's hear that.
Morris is set. He delivers. Fastball. That's taken for ball 4. It's a walk-off walk, and Arizona wins. Final score 6-5. Another walk-off for Chase Davis. This one maybe not as exciting as his towering home run against Arizona State, but it's a walk-off nonetheless. It's a win. Final score, Arizona 6, Nevada 5.
The rare walk-off walk.
Yeah, in all my years of minor league baseball, I don't know that I ever called a walk-off walk before. That is very rare, but it happens.
How about a grand slam?
Yeah.
Left foul, and that'll leave the park, but in foul territory. Tony Bullard swinging the bat well today.
Yeah, this
looked good.
This will have to bring back maybe in a couple more hours. But, yeah, I do have a few calls from Brody from when he filled in a couple of times over the years. Love to hear Brody's voice on the radio.
Outstanding. All right. Extra innings win last night for the Wildcats on a walk-off by Brendan Summerhill. It's DK on the Sports Tip, hour number 1 in the books. 2 more hours to go. Join us. We're going to talk to Travion White-Austin coming up a little bit later. He set a record for Arizona track that had stood for 33 years out of Saguaro High School. We'll get Travion's thoughts on being the new king of fast at the University of Arizona. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. With collisions reported Grant and Wilmot and Grant Road, we've got La Cholla near Star Pass. On La Cholla, south of Star Pass. Speedway east of I-10, 22nd Street and Alvernon Way reported. Also in the clearing, we had that collision that occurred on McGee to the east of Old Father. And overnight weather, 55 our low, a wind advisory tomorrow, noon to 10 p.m. with 81 is the high tomorrow. On Sunday, 80% chance of rain, 57 the high, 83 breezy now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
This just in, Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur and Wilma are in the car with you. This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Good news, everybody. We stay on the air with you for an extra 2 hours after every Arizona football and men's basketball game all season long. That's why we are the home of the Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
The end of the week. Friday here in southern Arizona. I mentioned we talked to Brody Dryden there, Arizona baseball playing tonight. We've got a ton of athletics happening on campus this weekend. Arizona men's tennis is also home, and they are on fire. We talked earlier in the week about what they are doing in terms of going to Los Angeles and sweeping the LA schools on the road for the first time ever. And Clancy Shields' team is back home again this weekend. So, again, if you want to get on out and support them, you can do so. In fact, they are playing right now. We'll keep you up to date on their match. They are playing, let's see, who are they playing today? They are playing California at home. So that match started at 2 o'clock. They're probably on the singles phase of it right now. We'll keep you up to date on what's happening with Arizona men's tennis. The ladies, I think, are on the road this weekend. Men's tennis will also play tomorrow at home against Stanford. So Stanford and Cal for the men. It looks like actually the ladies are off this weekend. So they are on bye. Volleyball is up at a tournament at GCU this weekend. So Arizona Beach Volleyball is on the road this weekend. The NCAA Men's Swimming and Diving Championships also going on. We'll see if we can get you some updates out of there as well for the men competing this weekend. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament. Told you Oregon State has won. It looks like South Carolina is going to hold on and beat Indiana. That is a 3-point game with about 14 seconds to go in Albany, New York. The other two games on the women's side today will be Stanford, the 2 seed, against North Carolina State, and then Gonzaga, the 4 seed in the Portland Regional 4 in Portland. They've got it's very interesting how they do these in women's basketball. They've got several different regionals happening in the same cities, but the Portland 4 regional, Texas is the number 1 seed. They'll face Gonzaga tonight, and then that will be the game that follows the one that's happened earlier today it's going to happen between Stanford and North Carolina State.
The Gamecocks had a 21-point lead in the second half of that game. That's why I had to do a double take when you said it was a 3-point game with 15 seconds left, because they just went crazy cold, did South Carolina. I had written that off because I saw it was a 21-point lead. They've been so dominant with about 12 minutes to go. I figured that game was over, but yeah, Indiana found a way to get back. Looks like South Carolina went really cold from the field, scored 4 points in 8 minutes of time. So, yeah, that'll do it.
Tomorrow's going to be an exciting day. You've got number 2 UCLA playing, number 1 Iowa, seed Iowa and Colorado. That's going to be a game to watch tomorrow. USC will take on Baylor tomorrow, and then UConn and Duke will also be on the floor on the women's side tomorrow. Of course, tonight on the men's side, the final places in the Elite Eight will be squared up in the South Regional. North Carolina State and Marquette will play in the first game. It'll be Duke and Houston in the second game. And then in the Midwest Regional, it'll be number 1 Purdue against Gonzaga, and then second-seeded Tennessee against Creighton. So those will be the games on the men's side tonight. Let's talk to Tom. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm good. Great year in basketball. I don't know if these guys have the killer instinct in them. You watch a lot of other teams, not as good as us. They don't have the players we have. And it seems they have, you can see it in their eyes, the difference. And there have been some games down the stretch where we just, we've had problems. We've always had problems with the slow down team and zones. But it was so disappointing that they keep jacking up these threes when if they drive the ball, they need to get a foul or get a couple shots in a foul. And I think it was some, lapse of, I don't know. But I just don't see the killer instinct in their eyes. It's kind of like they're flailing when they're down. They, it's not sure what to do. Then they're down and game's almost over and they start playing real well. Well, why didn't you do that earlier? You can't let a team get out that far in front of you in the beginning of a game. Shot selection, it was disappointing. I'm almost thinking, if I was one of them, I'd almost be embarrassed. I know they got a lot of talent. They're better than that. But they just don't seem to show it down the stretch. And this isn't just, this year, but with the talent we had this year, we should have gone all the way. I just don't think, like Bradley. Look what he does. He's he's a freshman, and he just, he got what it takes, to win. But some of the senior guys, I just don't see it. But the way I got over it was watch 4 innings of a baseball game with the D-backs, and then I was done watching for the night, and I was very happy.
Yeah, you only had to watch 4 innings last night because it got out of hand real quick at Chase Field.
I was messaging back and forth with a friend who doesn't, get the channel, and I think I told her, I said, it's 7-1, and then within, 10 minutes, every second I was 8-1, 9-1, 12-1, but that was exciting. I don't know who all can come back for a 5th year. They sure didn't do anything to help their stock in the NBA, I don't think. They've already,
Only Keyshawn, Tom, is out of eligibility.
Yeah.
Keyshawn's the only 5th-year guy. The other guys still have a COVID year if they wanted to use it.
Yeah, Umar could come back. Pella can come back. Caleb can come back if they want to use that 5th year.
So Keyshawn Johnson does not.
No.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, he played 4 years. He played 4 years at San Diego State. He was a graduate transfer. The others were not graduate transfers.
Yeah. If I were them, I'd like to come back. They got some unfinished business, and look at some of the young guys we got coming up. Bradley, Lewis. They're, and in Boswell. I don't know. If I were them, I would sure. Tommy's probably going to talk to him. There's going to be a lot of discussion over the summer and to see what's going to happen. But as I said, I personally, if it was me, I would have unfinished business. I would have come back and proved that it was a fluke. That we just didn't play up to our standards.
And this is the interesting thing now, Tom, as we are in this new era of NIL and there's money available for players to be able to make on this level. In a way, you can say you think it leads you to believe that maybe if you have an opportunity to come back here, you weigh your options. If I can get enough NIL to stay in college versus what I might be making if I turn professional, and I'm not talking about guys. If you ever think you have a chance to go to the NBA, I think you go to the NBA. But if you believe your future is playing overseas, then weigh the possibility of coming back and playing another year in college in an environment where you're loved and you're playing in front of packed facilities and that type of thing. It also comes down to kind of like what we were talking about with the young lady on the basketball team. Do you want to be in school? Because obviously there's the school element. If you're coming back to play here, you got to come back and go to school as well. Some people might say, well, if I can make $60,000 in college and 50,000 in the pros and not have to go to school, I might want to take the 50,000 in the pros, start my professional career, and not have to worry about the academic part of it. So there's a lot of things to be weighed, but I think the pull to stay in school with NIL is a lot greater now than what we've had in the past.
Right. Yeah, that's very understandable. Very understandable. So, as I said, I'm over it. I've been critical on them for this game. Normally, Well, I just feel like they let themselves down. I really do. I just don't see how you can jack up that many shots not falling. Then you got to do something different.
Well, and again, and you're absolutely right, Tom, and I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. I think when you say you don't understand how they can jack up that many shots, to me, that's when the coach has to come in and say, okay, I've got to reel this back into control and put offense out there for them that puts them in a better position to either, one, make those shots or get better shots than what I'm seeing right now from my team. So to me, that's a Tommy Lloyd thing. And if there's areas you want to point to where Tommy Lloyd needs to get better as a coach, maybe it's him recognizing when his team is not making the best decisions at the offensive end. Now, what am I going to do as the coach to try to put them in a better position to make better decisions? And that's, again, sometimes the coach has to be, and I guess what was the term that Kelvin used? I mean, we've been kind of saying free-flowing offense, but he used a different term yesterday. I believe he kind of said, it might have been open-ended offense. Is kind of what's happening here with this Arizona Wildcats basketball teams. At times, maybe we need to close that offense and make it more structured when things get to what we saw last night and guys are just taking shots from wherever and not making them. To me, that's on the coaching staff. Sometimes you have to step in and change things up. That might be an area where we need to see Tommy Lloyd grow a little bit more than what we've seen to this point. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Tom mentioned that he got over the game by watching the Diamondbacks. We'll talk Diamondbacks later this hour as well. Coming up, though, we're going to hear Arizona. We're going to talk some Arizona football. We're going to let you hear from the quarterback, Noah Fafita, who spoke after the second spring practice yesterday. We'll let you hear what Noah had to say about being back on the field with his teammates and this new coaching staff led by Brent Brennan and Dino Babers on the offensive side of the ball. It's DK on the Sports Tip. JW Madden's here. Cricket's getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. Crashes reported Broadway and Pantano, eastbound Broadway at Pantano, McGee west of Thornydale, Grant Road in Wilma, Speedway east of I-10 with westbound slowing on Speedway approaching I-10, and also clearing 22nd Street and Alvernon Way. 55 are low. Wind advisory tomorrow, noon to 10 p.m. with 81 as the high tomorrow. Sunday, Easter Sunday, 57 the high with an 80% chance of rain and 83 and breezy now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, they'll help you with any air conditioning, drain, or pipe issues. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected AC and plumbing experts anytime at coolwillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's coolwillies.com.
You do everything you can for your family. A nice home, good food, family fun, and the right medical care. You plan ahead for your kids' future and their education. That's all great, unless something unexpected happens to you. If you were to die, who would pay the mortgage and all the other bills? Would your family have to sell their home just to survive? That's why you need to call Term Provider for the lowest rates available on quality term life policies, period. Rates for term life are at all-time lows, and Term Provider could save you 50, 60, even 70%. Already have coverage? Call and see if you're paying too much. Term Provider could save you thousands. And if your health isn't perfect, even more reason to call. We'll match you with the right policy even if you have weight issues like diabetes or high blood pressure. Right now, your family's protected. Make sure that protection continues if something unexpected happens to you. Call for a free quote and see if you can save up to 70%. Call 800-333-1750 now. That's 800-333-1750. 800-333-1750.
The very best in play-by-play is on Tucson's best sports station, Wildcats Radio 1290. This is the home of the Wildcats and NFL play-by-play. This is the one and only Wildcats Radio 1290.
Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson wants your bike. Call us or visit our website to schedule an appointment or stop by today to receive an inspection and an offer. Whether you're looking to trade in and trade up or just looking for some extra money, we're prepared to make you a tempting offer. Don't deal with the hassle of selling it to a stranger. We're here to make the process quick and easy. Only at Pueblo Harley-Davidson or online at PuebloHarley.com. Again, stop into Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson or online at OldPuebloHarley.com. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
Southern Arizona Radiology Associates have been dedicated to providing superior images and quality care for the last 35 years. They're the one you trust when you need an X-ray, CT scan, ultrasound, mammogram, or MRI. They have locations in Tucson, Green Valley, and Sierra Vista. Ask your doctor to refer you to Southern Arizona Radiology Associates today. That's Southern Arizona Radiology Associates. Visit their website at sararadiology.com or call 520-335-6849 for more information.
Are you ready to adopt? Come to the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. When you adopt from us, you will save more than one life. You'll also make room for the next pet in need. The Humane Society of Southern Arizona has been compassionately serving pets and the people who love them since 1944. Our knowledgeable adoption matchmakers will help you find the right pet for your home and support you after you adopt. We are open 7 days a week at our main campus at 635 West Roger Road. Learn more and see adoptable pets at hssaz.org.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Android users, you can tune in to the home of the Wildcats by downloading our new app at the Google Play Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, let's give you the question of the day, and it goes back to what we talked about on the Meridian Wealth Management post-game show last night, at least one of the questions I had in terms of what is next for Arizona men's basketball. And just a quick update from your Mesquite Valley Growers scoreboard, the women's basketball tournament, South Carolina knocks off Indiana 79-75, so the Gamecocks are in the Elite Eight. And we were talking about this last night with Kelvin Ifan in terms of the guards on this team, and where do you go from here? And you've got three quality guards. At least Tommy Lloyd has three quality guards in Kylan Boswell, Jaden Bradley, and K.J. Lewis. And what we saw this year, obviously, was, and what we've seen in the 2 years that Tommy has been the head coach, is he'll often bring in a guard to a transfer guard. He did it with Courtney Ramey a few years ago. He did it with, obviously, Caleb Love this year. And again, Caleb Love was a great player, but he was a player that was recruited over some of these other guards that you had on the team. And in this era that we're in now of NIL and transfer portal, these coaches, and we've seen it happen here already with the women's basketball program and Adia Barnes, at some point you've got to make a decision about whether or not you're going to let your young players play, or whether you're going to continue to recruit over those young players. And I think we may have reached that point with Tommy Lloyd moving forward. Kylan Boswell is going to be going into his junior year. Jaden Bradley is, I think by all accounts, this will be his third season as well. K.J. Lewis, obviously, going into his second season. And are you going to go out into the transfer portal and recruit starting guards to play in front of them? That's a question that I have for Tommy Lloyd and this staff moving forward. And that's our question of the day today. U of A men's basketball coach Tommy Lloyd has 3 quality guards to build around. And Kylan Boswell, Jaden Bradley, K.J. Lewis. Does he need to let them be at the forefront, or can he or should he recruit older transfers to play in front of them or to play over them? That's our question of the day. Head on over to our Twitter account at Wildcats1290, and you can vote in the poll. I'm going to keep it active all weekend. We'll probably start doing that more now with Friday polls. We'll just keep the Friday polls active until we return on Monday. So you'll have all Monday to vote on this poll. Right now, 63% of you saying it's time to let these kids play. 63 to 37 right now. Let them play versus no. Recruit over them and let these kids compete. Again, 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us to respond to our question of the day. Does Tommy Lloyd need to let his young guards, if you want to still call them young, I mean, once you get to be a junior, you're really not young anymore. But should Tommy Lloyd let Kylan Boswell, Jaden Bradley, K.J. Lewis have the keys to this thing and not recruit over them going into next season? That's the question of the day. Right now, 63% of you are saying, yes, let those kids play. All right, we're going to talk Arizona basketball in the 5 o'clock hour with a great mind, legendary mind here in Tucson, Anthony Gimino, who is now with PHNX Wildcats. He will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Anthony has been following the Wildcats on this postseason road. We'll get his thoughts on what happened last night, what happened this season, and what this plan for Arizona basketball is going to be moving forward. Cricket will also be back in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll have more from her as well on what is happening here in Tucson this weekend. Let's talk to Bo. You're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
What up, man? I'm in the 60%. Yeah, just get them to just be point guards and run the team. You know, be that coach on the field or on the court. Because shit, that was the thing last night. Oh, sorry, Kurt.
Oh, sorry. Yep, Bo. Oh, sorry. Had to let you go on that one. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. All right, Arizona spring football. Practice number 3 is coming up tomorrow. I believe they're going to be in the stadium tomorrow. I'll check the schedule on that. But practice number 2 was yesterday. We had a chance to hear from the quarterback, Noah Fafita. Let's hear what Noah had to say about being back with his teammates on the field after a 10-win season in 2023.
It's great. We've been grinding for a couple months now, getting acclimated to the new staff. But the honeymoon phase is over. We're finally on the field, getting to work. So it's been a great first 2 days, and looking forward to 13 more practices in 1 more month.
Although it's been very short, just 2 practices, what have you learned in terms of the communication with Coach Babers and just talking to him and figuring things out and just learning from a new voice?
It's great. Coach Babers and Coach Lau, our quarterback coach, those are 2 guys that I spent a lot of time with since they got here, and whether that's in the facility or on the field, it's been great to have their coaching, to have their advice on the field. They're great coaches. Obviously, they've been around the game for so long, and they've been successful at the highest level. So having them as coaches, having them as people, it's been great. I'm looking forward to what the future holds.
I've heard Coach Babers is very military-minded. You kind of get that sense?
Yeah, he's an interesting guy for sure, and I could kind of see the military part of him. But great guy, great coach, and we're excited for him to lead us.
it's early, but like the verbiage and stuff like that, what's the biggest difference? What are the similarities?
There's a lot of similarities, and you got to give them a lot of credit because they're coming into a team where we had a lot of returners. So they took a lot of our terminology, a lot of our verbiage, and try to combine it with San Jose's and also with Coach Baber. So they did a great job kind of allowing us to implement this new offense and terminology. And then now we're just getting used to the new coaching points, getting used to their style of coaching. And it's been, like I said, it's been great. We're still learning, a long way to go.
I'm sure it's nice as a quarterback having 4 out of the 5 offensive linemen come back.
It's great, man. It's a blessing, and you can go down the list. We really we got a great offensive line. We got a great offense in general, and it makes my job easy. So, like I said, there's a lot to look forward to.
Noah, how would you describe what the last, I guess, 8 months have been like for you, just from the time that you were thrown in the game at Stanford up until this point?
Yeah, it's definitely been it's been a real fun ride. I've told a lot of people that this year feels a lot different. It is a lot different than the last 2 years, in my opinion, going to spring ball. Just from a leadership standpoint, having a lot of guys look to me for questions to have answers, and it's a blessing, and it's something that I don't take lightly. But it's been real fun. But like I said, we're not even close to where we want to be, and we have 13 practices to get closer, and then a couple months until fall camp and season.
There was, a lot of uncertainty with guys like you. What would you guys do? Would you follow Coach Fish? Would you maybe go somewhere else? What were the conversations like amongst the players, and what was that like being able to kind of come together and come back one more time?
Yeah, I would just say I'm a believer, so I believe that God allows everything to happen for a reason, and I was raised to believe that He doesn't make mistakes. So I see it as an opportunity for us to come together. The team came together, a lot of player-run meetings where a lot of individual conversations, and at the end of the day, we all made our individual decision. But I think we've grown a lot closer from it.
If you can talk about Kevin Green's progress so far. You've played with him last year a little bit in the second group, but now that he's with the starting unit, the slot, just talk about his overall.
Yeah, Kevin, that's my boy, and we've kind of been on this roller coaster together. We kind of recruited each other, came in the same time, came in that spring, and then up until the Stanford game, it was me and him pretty much for 2 years. So that's my boy. It's been great to see him kind of growing into his own every time he gets an opportunity, and you could talk all the way back to his true freshman year in practice, and then the couple opportunities he got in games last year. He always rises to the occasion, always makes plays that people are expecting him to make. So I'm expecting to have a breakout year. His habits have been changing dramatically on and off the field. So focus-wise, I think he's in a really good spot, and I'm excited to see him have that breakout year everybody's looking for.
That was your quarterback, Noah Fafita, after practice number 2 yesterday for Arizona spring football. The Wildcats will be back on the field tomorrow for practice number 3. 3 practices a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. All these practices are open to the public, so you have a chance to go out and see your Arizona Wildcats as they go through their first time on the field with their new head coach, Brent Brennan. Just every time I hear that young man talk, it makes you believe that at least on the field, you've got the ball in the hands of the right young man. He just exudes leadership. Just listening to him again, and I've always said that you can tell just by talking to young athletes what kind of leaders they can be on the field. And I go back to a media day many moons ago here, where Sean Miller had brought in a player, and we sat down to talk to that player, and I swear to goodness, it was like deer in the headlights, like no personality. And I kept asking myself, how is this young man going to run your team when he can't get up here and even put together functioning thoughts? It just blew my mind. I said to myself, this is not going to be a good year, because if you're giving the keys to this team to this young man, he better be one heck of a basketball player, because I don't think he's going to be very much of a leader. And then you talk to young people like Nick Johnson. The first time I talked to Nick Johnson, I can remember thinking, that's a leader right there. That young man is a leader. And you get that same feeling with Noah Fafita, that he is just a leader of men. And you got to believe it. I mean, you got to believe it. Why else would all these kids, I mean, he was the first one to sign here at the University of Arizona out of Juice County. Why else would all these kids follow him here to Tucson, Arizona? People follow leaders. That young man is a leader. And it's going to be fun to watch him continue to lead this football program, what we hope will be over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. Because he has what it takes. He has what it takes, and you can hear it every time he steps in front of that microphone. Noah Fafita. All right, 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Diamondbacks got a huge opening night win. I mean, I don't think I've seen too many opening nights like the one we saw at Chase Field on Thursday night. You could have left early if you wanted to. It was that dominant a victory. We'll get into that coming up next. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Westbound side of I-10 is picking up at Ruth Roff. We've got reported collisions. Valencia, west of I-19 at Valencia and Calle Santa Cruz. Broadway, eastbound in Pantano. McGee, west of Thornydale. Grant Road in Wilmot. Speedway, east of I-10 and westbound slowing on Speedway approaching I-10 and also 22nd Street and Alvernon Way. And for your weather, 55 our overnight low. Wind advisory tomorrow noon to 10 p.m. with 81 as the high. Sunday, 80% chance of rain with 57 as the high. And breezy, 83 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Play social games online for free. Head to ChumbaCasino.com now to join the Chumba fun and experience the thrill of the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
You know how we Wildcats love our games, and there's no place better, closer, or safer to game than Desert Diamond Casinos. Filled with hundreds of the newest, loosest slots, dozens of your favorite table games, and superior food and beverage options. Desert Diamond is the #1 destination for your free time fun festivities. Bear down for the best time in Tucson. Go to Desert Diamond Casinos. Go Cats!
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona Summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon
Then
spawning?
it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This March, Wendy's has some amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Why does 1290 run this town?
It's simple. 1290 is the only radio station that can bring you Thursday, Sunday, Monday Night Football, the NFL playoffs, and the Super Bowl. Scoreboard 1290.
This is the home of the Wildcats.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the sports tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, let's talk about your Arizona Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff!
National League champions in 2023, opening night at Chase Field. Good crowd on hand to see the fellas back, 49,000 plus. Kyle Freeland for the Rockies, Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks, and the Snakes jumped on Freeland early.
A look at second, now the 1-0. Gurriel swings, lifts one high, hits one deep. This one is long gone to left field.
Two 2-0 early on a Lourdes Gurriel 2-run bomb. Rockies would get a run in the second inning, and then the bottom of the third happened. And the bottom of the third
Walker.
was about as big an inning as I think you'll ever see on opening night.
Here is Walker. He struck out his first time up. Now the pitch. Swing. This is a gap shot towards left center. Doyle can't reach it. It's off the center field wall. 2 runs are in. Being held at third is Gurriel. And Walker drives in 2. We already did the cactus corn read like 30 minutes ago. Here's the 2-1. Swing. And another base hit. Into center. Perdomo scores. Marte will race through the stop sign. He'll score right behind him. A 2-run single for Gurriel, and it's 12-1. This is almost borderline disrespectful. Keep adding on. 0-2 from Molina. Swing and a line drive inside the right field line. That's a fair ball. 2 runs are going to score as Moreno's into second with a 2-run double, and it's 14-1.
14 runs in that inning for the Arizona Diamondbacks. You heard the 2-run double by Christian Walker. How about another 2 RBIs for Lourdes Gurriel Jr.? Gabby Moreno followed that with a double. And then it would be the youngster coming to the plate in his major league debut for the Diamondbacks. Blaze Alexander had a chance to make his name known.
3-2. Swing, and that looks like a base hit towards center. It is down, and another run scores. Make it 16 for the Diamondbacks on Blaze Alexander's first career major league hit.
Welcome to the big leagues, Blaze Alexander. 16-1 after 3 innings, and that would be plenty for the starter, Zach Gallen.
And he's got 412 strikeouts. That's in the top 5 National League starters over the past 2 years. Swing and a miss on the 3-2. And Doyle, the bucket comes off his head. He's down on strikes.
Great pitch, curveball, 3-2.
1-2. Swing and a miss by Jones. And the inning is over.
5 innings for Zach Gallen. He was not maybe quite as sharp as you would have liked to have seen. He did walk a couple batters, but 5 innings allowed just 3 hits, 1 earned run to pick up his first victory of the season. 16-1 the final on opening night. After the game, Zach Gallen on his offensive support.
The offense was great. I joked at one point. I was like, I said, hey, I want to play. Like, I was sitting on the side. I've never seen each guy get 2 at-bats in an inning that I can, maybe Little League. I don't know. It makes my job, our job as pitchers, a lot easier when they can go out there and give you, that much support. I think next time I'd rather than just do it in like 10 minutes, like score it in like 10 minutes so I can go out there. But yeah, those guys, they came ready to play.
Yes, they did. They did indeed. Torey Lavello, what'd you think of opening night?
Draw up an opening day type of a game. This is probably times 10. I can't express to you how ready I felt this team was, what they were accepting of throughout the course of spring training, and a lot of that showed up today. It wasn't just the 18 hits and 14-run inning. Of course, those are the things that you look at. You set a franchise record in a lot of different ways offensively for 1 inning output, but it was the situational hitting. It was taking walks when you're supposed to. It was an all-field approach. 1 home run and you score that many runs in a baseball game, you're expecting that everybody's going to have hit home runs. We had 1 tonight. We were a good hitting team today. And then probably the thing that most pleases me is the pitching and the defense. Zach, I had a couple of discussions with Zach about not preserving pitches, going out there. There was a long delay. I don't know how long the inning was. It was 40 minutes, I guess. It's off the top of my head, and that's tough on a starting pitcher or any pitcher to go back out there. And then we played unbelievable defense, and it was all the way through the entire game. That last double play in the 9th inning was not an easy play to make, and we did that all night long. So the focus was there, the intensity was there, the intent was there from the first pitch on, and that's what I was most proud of today. Clearly the highlight for me was Gurriel's day. It was real loud contact, 5 RBIs, 3 hits, Marte 3 hits. There were a lot of back-breaking approaches, a lot of back-breaking hits that I think just showed that we were ready to play, and we just kept coming. So we'll feel good about it. We have another emotional day tomorrow. I want the guys to get a good night's rest, be proud of what they did. They prepped for this moment. They deserve to feel good about it, but we got to reload tomorrow. We got to wake up, and we're going to try and go 1-0 again tomorrow.
16-1, the 14 runs in the 3rd inning, the most in an inning on opening day for any team in Major League Baseball since 1900. 34 minutes it took to play that inning for the Arizona Diamondbacks to get those 14 runs in the 3rd inning. Pretty impressive on opening day. He mentioned the 5 RBIs, obviously by Lourdes Gurriel Jr., and it is game 2 tonight. And I think they're giving out some National League Championship swag tonight to the fans in attendance. So it'll be Merrill Kelly on the mound for the Diamondbacks against Cal Quantrill on the hill for the Rockies. First pitch coming up at 6:40 at Chase Field. The Diamondbacks are favored tonight in this ball game at -240 on your Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook line. The over-under tonight is 9.5. 125, -125 at 9.5 on the under, plus 105 at 9.5 on the over tonight at Chase Field. Game 2 of that 3-game series. Excellent start for your Arizona Diamondbacks last night. All right, I want to, we didn't get a chance to, we obviously heard from the podium earlier in terms of the Arizona Wildcats men's basketball team and what they had to say after the game last night. There was not, in terms of what's normally posted on the Arizona Wildcats YouTube channel, they didn't really post any of the locker room conversations, which we didn't really expect that they would after a loss. But I want to play some of, and I'll play that from over here, J-Dub. I want to play some of what the players had to say after the game as it relates to their head coach. And this comes from Matt Reynoldsson from News Channel 4. He was out in Los Angeles covering the Wildcats for KVOA and posted these comments that the Wildcats had. Among the people you're going to hear from, Umar Ballo, Kylan Boswell. Here, let's hear from the guys when asked about their head coach after the ball game.
Oh man, those people are bettors. They bet and they lose money, then they get mad. So I don't think they are really true Arizona fans. Whoever is true Arizona fan, you know what Tommy means to this culture, what Tommy means to this program. He's a hard worker. He's a guy that cared for people, for this program. His love for this program is unbelievable. And those fans that just gonna say whatever they want to say. They don't really love this program. They only love money. So I don't really pay attention to what they're going to say to Tommy or to us as a player.
It wasn't on him. He put us in position. He's not playing on the court. But it wasn't on Coach Lloyd. We was out there playing. We was the one making the plays. We was the one on defense. We was the one on, that was out there, playing. So he put us in position all year to succeed. And, unfortunately, it was tough that we, couldn't finish it out. Not only for him, but the city of Tucson, the Arizona basketball community. But, Coach Lloyd has, helped me so much. I've learned so much from him. He's a competitor. He's, a basketball guru. He knows so much about the game. And, he definitely has this program in the right direction.
For me, it means everything. They brought me in, 17, he's helped mold me as a basketball player and as a human being. He's instilled a lot of belief in me as a point guard for this team. It's kind of just, hard when you go out there and it just doesn't fall. You kind of want to give it your all. As a player and as a point guard for this team, I was really frustrated with tonight, but I know me and him are going to talk and get back on, figure stuff out. But he's helped me tremendously in my life.
All right, those were the players after the game. You heard from Umar Ballo there. You heard from Caleb Love. And you heard from Kylan Boswell. That, again, courtesy of News 4 Tucson KVOA. Matt Reynoldsson posted those comments on his Twitter page. Wanted you to kind of just hear what the players were having to say about their head coach. J-Dub, any thoughts about what you heard and the way that those guys stood behind their head coach there?
No. Same. It's the same thing they've said all year. Obviously, interviewing 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds after one of the worst moments of their lives is you're not going to get, all of the emotion of the moment, right? DK, how long is that? 15 minutes after the game ends?
Yeah.
So, no, I think those guys standing up for Tommy, I think what Umar said is quite clear. There's a lot of frustrated fans in the fan base who think Arizona is Kentucky, think Arizona is Kansas, think Arizona should be mentioned among the names of those teams based on the 1988 to 2001 run and all of the success they had in the postseason. This is one of the top 10 programs in the country. Just look at the numbers, look at the recruiting, all of those things. Look at the number of players who have NBA ties who came from Tucson. That being said, frustration from fans for not seeing a deep run in the tournament, that's natural. That's something that they come to expect. They want to see them in the Final Four every single year. Tommy Lloyd is coaching his third year. I know Tommy himself will say 20 years on the bench at Gonzaga. However, when you're making the decisions yourself, DK, and you're out there coaching in the moment and making adjustments, you learn. Tommy is a younger coach relative to this job. And so he's going to learn as time goes on. if they have a guy like Oumar Ballo in the post and they have a free-flowing motion offense and they don't get the ball inside early in a game, the next time the Sweet 16 rolls around, potentially that's on the coach. I think the players this time really settled for some dumb shots early, and that kind of snowballed. We talked about that a lot last night. But relative to what the players just said right there, of course, I mean, they love Coach Lloyd, as do most Juve fans and people who lost money because they had the Cats winning the national championship and put their mortgage on it or whatever. I don't necessarily put that at the feet of the players.
I don't know if I want to put my mortgage on on college basketball. That's way risky. No, not at all.
What did I say last night in the post? Connecticut is the first team to make the Elite Eight
after winning
a championship since 2007. So meaning that, like, even if you have success and you can go all the way and win a national championship in the tournament, there's no guarantee that you're going to have success the next year. In fact, no team has had success until this year's Connecticut team the next year. So I think this team had, on paper, and from what we saw all year long, the best chance to cut the nets down of any team I've seen. Very complete as far as checking all the boxes. You want maybe to be there a little bit more connectivity. Hopefully Abu Dhabi and Israel trip was going to make that happen, kickstart that journey. But, I mean, they literally just missed too many open shots and took too many contested shots, and that's the reason why they lost. All the other stats, DK, if you look across the board, they did quite well in just about every capacity, including only having 9 turnovers, which has been an issue this year at times. The players are going to have his back. I expect nothing less. It's a family-type environment. It always has been and always will be.
Couple of comments real quick here to our question of the day. Should Tommy let his 3 main guards play next season in terms of giving them the keys to the team, Kylan Boswell, Jaden Bradley, K.J. Lewis, or should he recruit transfers over them? Jay checks in. He says he's honestly already recruited over them with the class that is coming in. Boswell, at least, KJ and Bradley are going to play. A few more comments we'll read for you coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to talk to Travion White-Austin. Arizona track broke a record in the 100 meters last weekend at the Willie Williams Classic that had stood for 33 years out of Saguaro High School. We'll talk to Travion next. It's DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly along with J.W. Madden. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported Rancho Vistoso and Tangerine to Rancho Vistoso, Valencia west of I-19, Valencia near Calle Santa Cruz, eastbound Broadway at Pantano, and also Grant Road and Wilmot. Westbound side of I-10 picking up near Ruth Roth. 55 the low tonight, wind advisory tomorrow noon to 10 p.m. with 81 as the high. On Easter Sunday, 80% chance of rain with 57 as the high. Breezy 83 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. It's not supposed to be easy at all. In fact, winning the NCAA tournament is supposed to be one of the most difficult things to do in all of sports. And then doing it back-to-back is supposed to be nearly impossible. Right now, UConn is making one of the toughest things there is look like one of the easiest things. And last night's title game rematch from a year ago was never really in doubt, just like that title game from a year ago was never really in doubt. I've got a ton of respect for Coach Dutch and the Aztecs and that program. And there's no shame in not being able to match up with the Huskies, because nobody can match up with the Huskies. 9 straight tournament wins for UConn by an average of nearly 23 points. Their average margin of victory in this tournament is nearly 29 points. They've trailed in this tournament for all of 28 seconds. It's outrageous. Actually, it's straight up stupid. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app. I like playing on Prize Picks. So do the members of the XR4TI. You could win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. There are hundreds of players from more than a dozen sports to choose from. Pick one and choose more or less on their next performance. Download the Prize Picks app right now and use the code ROME for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code ROME, R-O-M-E, on the Prize Picks app. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Today on Hey Culligan Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener. Here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on, with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th Gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Inching closer to the weekend. It'll be our first weekend without Arizona men's basketball, or any basketball for that matter, since, November? It becomes just like the fabric of our life for those 5 months or so. What is that? November, December, January, February. So March, 5. Yeah, 5 months. It becomes the fabric of our life. It's a fabric that was pulled from underneath us last night by the Clemson Tigers. in the Sweet 16 as they are now going on to face the Alabama Crimson Tide. How about the fact that the West Regional between Clemson and Alabama is going to produce a team that has never been to the Final Four? Neither one of those programs has ever been to the Final Four. So we are going to have a first-time Final Four team coming up this year. At least one in either Alabama or Clemson. Clemson in the Elite Eight for the first time since 1980. I don't know if you remember much about that team, but they had a player on that team that might be very familiar to Phoenix Suns fans back in the day. A guy by the name of Larry Nance. That's how good Clemson was at one point. Also a guy in Larry Nance, familiar to the fan base where I'm from. In Cleveland, the Cavaliers traded from the Suns to the Cavaliers. Alabama has never been to the Final Four. The football school now back in the basketball business. That's another notch on Greg Burns' belt, the former athletics director here at the University of Arizona, who is now leading the program at the University of Alabama. They've been very good in a number of sports. Basketball has not always been one of them. They were on the cusp last year, got upset by a lower seed, but this year getting there, and sometimes that's what it takes. It takes that loss, the frustration of that loss to get you to that point where you can take that next step. I mean, how many times have we seen that in the NBA? I mean, that for years, that was the script in the National Basketball Association. Team would make the playoffs, maybe get to the Eastern Conference Finals, suffer a loss, come back the next year, and they would be able to get over the hump and get to the finals. I mean, we saw that with a number of teams. The Bulls, the Pistons. Pistons couldn't beat the Bulls back in the 80s and early 90s, and then they finally got over that hump. Sometimes that's what has to happen here in college basketball as well. All right, our question of the day, we've got some comments on this. We'll reiterate it to you if you have not had a chance to head on over to our Twitter account, Wildcats1290, and vote. U of A men's basketball coach Tommy Lloyd has 3 quality guards to build around in Kylan Boswell, Jaden Bradley, K.J. Lewis. Does he need to let them be at the forefront? All right, give the keys to those young men, Boswell, Bradley, K.J. Lewis. Let them be at the forefront. Or can he, or should he, continue to recruit over them with transfers like we've seen him do the last 2 years, bringing in transfers like Courtney Ramey and this year, Caleb Love? And I'll go back to what I mentioned earlier. I think there comes a time when you got to let your young kids go. And I said that last year about Adia Barnes. I said you cannot, she could not. She brought in that class last year. I said you can't recruit over those girls. You can't recruit over Jada Williams. You can't recruit over Brea Cunningham. You can't recruit over Skylar Jones. You can't recruit over Montea Dew. You cannot do it because they'll walk out the door just like the previous class did. Because the previous class was pretty darn good too in 2022. And she recruited transfers over them, and they walked out the door the next year. Now they're all gone. So if you want to try to have some continuity in these programs, because that's where we're at in college sports, you got to let these kids play. Paul Cunningham checks in. Tucson City Councilman Paul Cunningham. We've talked about him a couple times over the course of the last few days. Paul Cunningham says, best question of the day ever. In this case, we stick with our dudes. K.J. Lewis, Kylan Boswell, J.B. Smooth, with 55 backup are nice. No reason to ruffle the shuffle. That comes from Paul Cunningham, Tucson City Councilman Paul Cunningham. Paul, we appreciate you checking in on the show. We have a text that's come in. Absolutely think Tommy Lloyd should have the guards he has play ball. They play hard. They deserve minutes. Yes, the 3-ball is big time. However, what has worked for the Cats when they've trailed in big games is the guards getting to the basket, getting it inside, scoring, or drawing a foul. It worked to a point, but for some reason, Tommy Lloyd went away from that, and it cost him. Coaching needs to improve, not the players. We appreciate that comment, anonymous comment coming in on the text groove. You can text us if you'd like. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call the number. You can text the number. Coming up a little bit later this hour, we're going to talk to Anthony Gimino. We'll get his thoughts on Arizona men's basketball. The Wildcats falling to the Clemson Tigers in the Sweet 16. Anthony's been around this program for a long time. He knows a lot about it. He's covered the history of it. And we'll get Anthony's thoughts on what he saw. He was with the Wildcats in Salt Lake City. I'm not sure if he traveled to Los Angeles or not, but he was with the Wildcats at the Pac-12 tournament. Saw him there, and he was also with the Wildcats in Salt Lake City last weekend. Back covering it for PHNX. We'll get Anthony's thoughts as well. Let's update you on some things that are going on right now in college basketball as the games are underway on the men's side. The Elite Eight, the second half of the Sweet 16 that will lead to the Sunday version of the Elite Eight. North Carolina State at the half is leading number 2 seed Marquette 37-24. How about the Wolfpack? How about obviously we can't necessarily say how about the ACC because North Carolina lost, but you've also got Duke playing tonight. They'll be playing Houston. Also in progress right now in the Midwest region, top seed Purdue down at the moment to Gonzaga 29-28. Those are the games in progress right now. Again, Duke and Houston is coming up a little bit later, followed by Creighton and Tennessee. Those are the games that we've got still on the docket tonight in the NCAA on the men's side. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Busy night in Arizona sports. Softball is home. They're going to be playing here shortly. That game is on the radio, just not on this channel. You can hear that game on 1400, Freedom 1400 KTUC. Freedom 1400 KTUC with Derek Palmer. He will have the call on that game. I believe that game starts at 6 o'clock, so Derek's coverage will start on Freedom 1400 at 5:50 tonight. And then baseball here against UCLA, that game will start at 7 o'clock, a little after 7. And you can hear coverage of that beginning at 6:50. Brody Dryden will be on the call. Brody Dryden will have calls not only tonight, but he'll also have the call of tomorrow's game now that there is no basketball. Arizona and UCLA. And that game will be at 1 o'clock tomorrow with coverage beginning at 12:50. All right, I was reading something here real quick. Wanted to get my thoughts on that. On the women's side, there is a game in progress right now, and it is Stanford and North Carolina State. Stanford is the number 2 seed, and they are playing tonight against North Carolina State, the number 3 seed. And that game right now is Stanford 26, North Carolina State 20. They are in the second quarter there. Oregon State and South Carolina have already advanced to the Elite Eight on the women's side. South Carolina undefeated at 35-0. And this goes back to something we were talking about in the last half hour in terms of the men. And J-Dub brought up a great point about how UConn is the first champion to make it back to the Sweet 16 since 2007. I'm sorry, Elite Eight, since 2007 on the men's side. But we routinely see that on the women's side. When you look at South Carolina, when you look at Stanford, when you look at Notre Dame, Baylor, the quote, I guess you could call those schools the quote, blue bloods on the women's side. It seems like every year they get to the Elite Eight. And oftentimes, I left UConn out of that, which I probably shouldn't have done because they're perennially there every year. And it begs to ask why we see that consistency on the women's side and we don't see that consistency on the men's side in terms of the power teams in college basketball. We'll have to figure that out and do a deep dive on that and see maybe why women's teams, power women's teams, can get there more consistently than power men's teams. And are we going to start to see a shift in that now as we begin to see a shift in these rosters because of the transfer portal and NIL? All of that we can dive into as we continue here with you today. But first, cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together, sponsored by Park Place Mall. Collisions reported Thornydale to the south of Ina, 22nd Street east of Keno Parkway. Irvington and Nogales Highway, 22nd Street and Pantano Parkway. 5th Street west of Alvernon and also Tangerine and Rancho Vistoso. 55 the low. Wind advisory tomorrow from noon till 10 p.m. with 81 as the high tomorrow. On Easter Sunday, an 80% chance of rain, 57 as the high, 83 breezy. Now I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Powered through your spring at Lowe's with Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Buy one select string trimmer, leaf blower, or mower kit. Get one select 56V battery free. Valid through 4/3 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
DJ on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
So I wore my fancy new Christmas boots that my wife got me.
Ow, it don't hurt.
Got a cramp. See?
Gotta stretch before you do that. Oh, my hip.
Stop trying to do crazy gymnastics in the studio.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Free tickets to a U of A baseball game? That's what Clipper Automotive is giving you a chance to win. Clipper Automotive is now a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and would like to give you the opportunity to win a pair of tickets to a University of Arizona baseball game this season. All you need to do is stop by the shop on Thorndale Road and put your information in the Enter to Win box. Stop by to enter at Clipper Automotive. No purchase necessary. Clipper Automotive provides honest, reasonable, and stress-free automotive repair services and looks forward to servicing your vehicle.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out.
Ew, my feet are stuck.
In what, honey?
On the floor.
Ew. Take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Introducing Tanzite Stone Tile Flooring, a game changer in the tile industry. Say goodbye to the trade-off between durability and easy installation with Tanzite's revolutionary indoor-outdoor stone tile. Visit Tanzite.com to see how our tile is installed without concrete or mortar. Instead, our innovative rubber gasket system connects the tiles together. Each tile coming pre-assembled, you simply grab one and place it. No expertise needed. At Tanzite.com, you can see how our foam back tiles contour to cover any existing floor while insulating against sound and cold. Beautiful and versatile. Tanzite tile adapts to indoor or outdoor use, from kitchens to patios, on concrete basements or wooden decks. All with the durability of stone that's guaranteed for life. Witness this innovative product yourself and order a sample today at Tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. Wildcats fans can listen to us everywhere on our all-new app.
Now available from the Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone users.
The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Celebrate Easter at the Park Place Mall with fun for the entire family, including the four-legged members. Get your photo with the Easter Bunny. Join in the mall-wide Easter egg hunt all month long. And don't miss the doggy Easter egg hunt during Yappy Hour, March 28th. Learn more at parkplacemall.com.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th Gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Why does 1290 run this town?
It's simple. 1290 is the only radio station that can bring you Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Scoreboard 1290.
This is the home of the Wildcats.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the sports tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, let's talk some Arizona Wildcats track and field. Something special happened last Saturday at the Willie Williams Classic. A record was broken that had stood for 33 years. The men's 100 meters. The great Michael Bates out of Amphi High School had set the record back 33 years ago at 10.17, but that record went down, and it went down on the legs of Tucson's own Travion White Austin. He joins us now. Travion ran a 10.14. Travion, welcome. Were you feeling fast that day?
I was feeling pretty good. I was rolling.
I guess when you looked at that number, did you think that was a number? How much did you think that was a number that you'd be able to surpass at some point in your college career?
Man, I thought, I was hoping I couldn't really see the board when I saw it, but when I saw it, I was pretty hyped. But I knew I could do it. Like, you just, eventually I would get it.
Well,
I knew I could do it.
Let's go back to because obviously I've been in this market a long time. I watched you play a lot of high school football back in the day over there at Saguaro High School, and I saw you win the fastest prep title as a senior as well. When did you kind of fall in love with track and field?
I think I've always liked track ever since I was younger, but I kind of, once I hit high school, that's when I really locked in with track.
And did you always kind of play? I mean, was football kind of your second sport? I mean, was there any point when track was number one, football was number two? How did they kind of play together when you were coming up?
I feel like football was like kind of my number one thing, but I kind of realized like that probably wouldn't happen. So I kind of just like that's when track became like my number one thing to do, like my sport.
Now, Coach, we had Coach Harvey on a little bit earlier this week, and he was saying that you kind of grew up in their program. What was that like for you, kind of, and what were some of the teachings that you got from Tucson Elite growing up that have kind of helped you, get to this point in your career?
I just had a lot of encouragement from my coaches and like the older kids that I ran with back in those days. I just really looked up to those people, and that kind of helped me.
Travion White, Austin is joining us. U of A track and field ran the 100 last week in 10.14. What was your reaction when did you see the number pop up on the board? Did somebody tell you? How did you find out that you had it?
I couldn't really see the board, but then like I kind of heard the announcer say it, and that's when I was like that's why I was pretty excited about it. But I couldn't really see the board because it was far.
Have you ever met Michael Bates?
No, I've never met Michael Bates.
Oh, okay. It's funny because Fred Harvey's always told me that there's probably about 40 guys in college track that can run 10.2. Like a lot of guys can run 10.2. But if you can get yourself into that 10-1 category, then you have a chance to be special. So what does it take to get from being a 10-2 guy to a 10-1 guy consistently?
I just got to execute your race every time. That's pretty much it.
When you talk about executing your race, like take me through your regiment from like the time you take off your sweats. Like what's your regiment to the time you get in the block and then you get moving?
You just gotta execute your warm up. You gotta be mentally focused. You gotta be locked in, and you gotta execute your drive phase. And from your drive phase, you gotta execute your transition, and then you just gotta from there.
So now, when you say drive phase, to people that don't know a lot about track and field, what does that mean?
It's the first 30 or 40 meters of the race.
So this is actually in the race.
Yes.
Okay. Why do they call it the drive phase? Is there a reason for that?
It's your angle when you're out of the blocks and when you're running. You're not supposed to you could pop up as soon as you get out the blocks, but the drive phase is really important so that you don't pop up as soon as you get out the blocks.
Okay. So then what comes after the drive phase?
Your transition.
Okay, so what's your focus in the transition?
To get your get the high knee lift. Just having a smooth transition from the drive phase is really important.
Okay, and then what's the most important thing about the close? Wait, let me stop there. What do they call it the close, or do they call that something else?
I mean, you just finish the race. Try not to be too backside, and try to be stand up tall when you run.
Who's the most have you heard from a lot of people since you broke this record? Have people kind of been reaching out to you? Who's the most exciting person you've heard from since you broke this record?
I would say just family and friends.
And you were on the team, you were on the 4x100 team last year that broke that record, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
What is that? I mean, when you think about that, because that record had stood for about 20-something years as well, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. That was a record that had stood for a long time. When you think about your legacy and the fact that you came into this program and you're going to be a part of having broke two records that stood forever, what is that? What do you think that says to you as a trackster, as a sprinter?
I would say I just kept working hard, trusting my coach, and I just got it done.
Yeah, we got to talk a little bit about your sprint coach, Francesca Green. What is some of the best advice that Francesca's given you?
She just tells me to just focus, during meets, big meets, just to focus on me and don't worry about, the other people, because she said I can compete with the best. She's like, I'm one of the best, and I can compete with the best people in the country. That's what she always tells me. And that helps me a lot.
Do you make goals in terms of what you want your like? And you run the 200, correct? If I'm not mistaken, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have goals? Like, do you go into do you put a number up on the wall and say, okay, this year in the 100, I want to get 10-10 or 10 or 9-9 or what? Do you do that? And what was your goal in the 100 coming into the year?
So my goal for the 100 was obviously beat the record, which I got done. And I'm kind of making it a new goal to hit like a 10 or something. And for the 200, I would like to run maybe I would definitely like to run below 20.3.
So what do you think has been the most important for you in the individual sprints that's allowed you to take these steps from last year to this year? Because I believe you, if I'm not mistaken, last year you competed pretty well in the Pac-12 championships. What do you think's been most important about your process in the last year that's allowed you to kind of make that jump?
Just getting stronger and being able to stand up when I run. Because sometimes I lean forward a lot when I run, but I've been more focusing on just standing up tall and running.
So, like, in terms of your posture, is that comes in the second phase? So you want to stay low in the dry phase, and then you want to become more statured in that second phase of the race? Yeah,
just stand up tall and just run.
Coach Harvey said you don't necessarily have, the frame that most people would think of when they talk about an elite sprinter. Do you get that a lot out there? It's like, you're kind of a small kid.
Yeah, I'm a short guy, but they know me when I get on the track. It don't really matter about height or anything. But yeah.
And obviously, you had to go to junior college first before you went before you got here. What was that process like for you to come out of Saguaro High School, go up to Central, and was the plan always to get back to U of A, or were you also looking at other schools at that point?
Yeah, U of A's always been my dream school, and I'm just glad to be here at the U of A.
And you broke a pair of records also in the indoor. This past year, you broke the school record in the 600-meter indoor, the 200-meter indoor. What's the difference between the 600-meter indoor and the 100-meter outdoor, other than the fact that it's a shorter race?
I got the 60, not the 600.
I'm sorry, the 60. 60.
Yeah. It's kind of like the same thing, but like shorter, I guess. I mean, I would do the same. Like, I don't think I would drive as long in the 60 as I would for the 100. Because that would kind of mess me up, but that's pretty much all.
Do you miss football at all?
Yeah, it was really fun, but yeah, it's just not my thing, I guess, anymore. But I really do miss football a lot.
How far can you take this track thing? Do you think you'd like to run professionally?
That would be really nice, but I'm just gonna run as long as I can.
There you go. So I mean, best number right out of the gate to start the season. Like, no pressure on the rest of these races, right?
No, I just got to keep running well. I just got to run when it matters. I got to be able to run fast when it matters.
10.0 is the goal for this season. Do you know a lot of guys that have been in the nines?
I know a few.
What have they told you about what it takes to get into the nines?
Oh, I've never talked to them, but I know of people that have hit the nines.
All right, outstanding. Hey, Travion, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Continued success. Congratulations on this record. We're looking forward to keeping up on those numbers and maybe getting you up on the podium at the final Pac-12 championships later on this year.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
All right, Travion White Austin out of Saguaro High School, the new 100-meter record holder at the University of Arizona, 10.14 last weekend at the Willie Williams Classic. Real impressive. Think you could run cricket the run 100 meters in 10.14 seconds?
Absolutely not.
Do you have any idea what you would run the 100 meters in?
Very slowly. It would look like a really pitiful, it would look like a fast walk.
A fast walk?
Yeah. Good for him, man. He's fast.
Do you run at all? Like, do you jog? Are you a jogger at all or anything like that?
No.
No, that's not your thing?
No. I wish it was. I wish I could.
What's your exercise? Do you have an exercise thing that you do, or are you like a Pilates person, or
no? That'd be kind of cool too. I just walk really fast.
You
with
walk
my dog.
really fast,
yeah,
with the dog,
with the pup. Yeah,
there you go. Sometimes they just get you going. I mean, you don't have to walk them fast; they walk you fast.
They walk
right?
me fast. Yes, they do. This is true.
What happens when you get a dog like that? Because you're a professional dog walker. If folks did not know that. What happens when you get one of those dogs that just wants to go and you're trying to, do you try to reel them in a little bit? Hey, slow down.
Yes, we do try to teach them some leash manners because we don't want them to knock their adopter off their feet,
Right,
so excited
exactly.
to go. So we do try to work on leash manners and nice, polite walking.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice, polite walking. All right. Well, there's nothing polite about the weekend.
Haha.
And things going on this weekend here in southern Arizona. So cricket is back to give you a little bit of an idea on some of the fun stuff that you can do here because the weather is supposed to be pretty good, from what I've been told this weekend.
Okay tomorrow, but then rain.
Oh,
probably
rain
on
Sunday?
Easter. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
All right.
So we can talk
So
about
if I'm
that.
going to play golf, I got to play tomorrow.
You got to play, yeah, exactly. But
Okay.
it's going to be really windy tomorrow.
Yes.
So
Oh.
we can talk about that.
Okay.
All right. So springtime at the Marana Pumpkin Patch tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 4 with fun stuff for the kids like train rides and egg hunts and vendors there. Tomorrow night, the Laser Prince Show at the U of A Flandreau Science Center and Planetarium.
Wait, Laser Prince? Like
Yes.
Prince, the artist Prince?
Correct.
Wow.
Isn't that kind of cool?
That is.
I don't think they've ever done a Prince light show.
Nice.
So
That's on campus.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Correct. It's at 9 tomorrow night. The Rocky Horror Picture Show tomorrow night at the Loft Cinema on Speedway, but that's showtime at 10 tomorrow night. And for Easter Sunday, I don't know how this will go because it's supposed to rain, but there is an Easter kite fly on Sunday from noon to 5 at Himmel Park.
Ooh, I have not flown a kite since I think I tried to fly one once in college.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's been about 20, 30 years since I tried to fly. Were you a kite flyer growing up?
I did really like to do that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore. In fact, I cannot remember the last time I saw a kite in the sky. I don't think I've ever seen it here in Arizona. I think probably the last time I saw it might have been when I lived down south in Tennessee, which was back in 05 through 07. But I used to love to try to get those things going.
It was just it's such a feat.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
I'd like to see. Now you got me dreaming about maybe going out and trying to relive my childhood.
And you can do
this
that.
weekend.
You could even just
and
watch.
fly a kite.
Like you can fly a kite, or you could just
I wouldn't
observe.
even know where to buy a kite. I don't know if I've ever seen. Do they sell them in the stores anymore?
Probably, maybe in like sporting goods or maybe toy section. I don't know.
Maybe like Dick's Sporting Goods or one of those places.
Maybe something like that. I'm not sure. That's a good
I
question.
might have to go and investigate where to find a kite.
That would be fun.
So I can go fly one. We'll fly. We got plenty of room out here in the back. Maybe I'll go out and fly a kite in the back. I don't know. That might land in
Be
somebody's
careful
yard.
the guide wires and the, the tower out there too.
Yeah,
I have
probably not a good idea.
30 kites at my house.
You
Do
have
you really?
30 kites?
Are you kidding?
Yeah, at least.
Wow. Like, are you a kite collector?
I was not, but my dad, who passed away, was. So,
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I have like a lot of super fancy, crazy aerodynamic French ones. They just are putting, they're in the mothball. They're mothballed up in some hole somewhere in some storage area. But yeah, I got a ton of kites. If you need one, just let me know.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting. So you don't use them. They just are kind of like just there.
I don't find myself at parks with the need to use them. No, I don't. Go
Maybe
out
you
and seek
should.
kite flying
Sunday.
activities.
On Sunday.
On Sunday. There you go. J-Dub. We got to get J-Dub and his
I'm
kite
also
collection.
the track and field guy among us.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
So I
What
used
was
to
your
run
race?
10Ks.
10Ks?
Yeah.
All right.
And, marathons as well. Well, I did like some kind of crazy hybrid triathlons in Oregon. This one called the Pole Pedal Paddle.
Yeah.
Where you start out skiing at the top of Mount Bachelor, and then you get in a kayak and you kayak into Bend, Oregon, and then or maybe it's bike and then kayak is the finish. But yeah, bike, kayak, and ski was a fun triathlon we did.
Nice.
Impressive.
Nice. All right. Cricket, have a great weekend.
You too.
Get us home with traffic.
All right. From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather. Together with collisions reported Thornydale south of Ina, 22nd Street east of Keno Parkway, Irvington and Nogales Highway, 22nd and Pantano Parkway, 5th Street west of Alvernon, also Tangerine and Rancho Vistoso clearing. 55 are low. Wind advisory tomorrow, noon to 10 p.m. with 81 as the high tomorrow. And for Easter Sunday, the high at 57 with an 80% chance of rain. A little breezy and about 82 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. When I need a winning strategy for my team, nothing beats knowledge and skill. That's why I recommend Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for all your home service needs. Having personally witnessed the impact of hard work and dedication, Right Way brings the same commitment to your home's comfort. Whether it's HVAC, plumbing, or electrical, their team always delivers excellence. With a legacy of quality service since 1959, you know you're in good hands. So give your home the best. Choose Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Call or text 520-640-CATS or visit rightwayac.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water, pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Champs Kitchen and Bar has grand opening bracket buster specials all month long, including $5 pizzas, $5 burgers, and $5 pitchers, and more. Champs Kitchen and Bar at 7625 North La Cholla Boulevard. Cheers to good times, great food, and even better deals at Champs Kitchen and Bar.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Free tickets to a U of A baseball game? That's what Clipper Automotive is giving you a chance to win. Clipper Automotive is now a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and would like to give you the opportunity to win a pair of tickets to a University of Arizona baseball game this season. All you need to do is stop by the shop on Thorndale Road and put your information in the Enter to Win box. That's right, stop by to enter at Clipper Automotive. No purchase necessary. Clipper Automotive provides honest, reasonable, and stress-free automotive repair services and looks forward to servicing your vehicle.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. It's the 5 o'clock hour, and it's time for your Arizona Insiders.
Oh, sweet.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions of U of A basketball. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Arizona basketball. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
All right, let's wrap up this week with one final chat about Arizona men's basketball, joined by the legendary Anthony Giumino, longtime beat writer for Arizona Athletics. He has been covering the Wildcats this season. He was in Las Vegas for the final Pac-12 tournament. He was in Salt Lake City last week for the first round of the NCAA tournament. Did you go to L.A., Anthony, or no?
Making plans to go to Glendale.
Oh, say again, Anthony. I'm sorry. We missed the first part of that.
Oh, yeah. I said no, was not in L.A., but I sure was making plans to go to Glendale and get those credentials and figure out a content plan. But, you know what, DK, that's happened before, man. It's happened during, I remember, late in the, I know it's too soon, but Arizona, Illinois in the 2005, and, it's late, midway through the second half, and Steve Rivera and Corky Simpson and I were talking about, hey, what's our next flight plan to get to wherever the next round was. So you can blame us. We totally jinxed it. I get it. But, yeah.
So, Anthony, what's it going to take? What's it going to take to get this pro? I mean, we were talking to Brody Dryden a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. He doesn't remember 2001. He's not old enough. And it hit me when he said that there's a generation of fans now that are in their early 20s that don't know what it's like to go to the Final Four. What's it going to take to get this program back to the Final Four?
Man, I was thinking of that a little bit last night and this morning, that the stories that we all talk about now, they were a really long time ago. And you because we've all talked about it for so long, you suspect everybody else knows it, but they don't. I thought I was always in the camp of, like Sean Miller. There were people who's like, oh, he's never going to get to the Final Four. You're never going to get to the Final Four playing the pack line defense, right? Well, it's like, how can you say that? Because there were like 3 occasions where he was within about a shot or two of getting to the Final Four. You're just going to blame that on he can't do it? It just hadn't happened. And I always thought that given enough chances, everything would fall into place magically, like it did for Lute Olson in 1997 after everybody. Can you imagine what it would have been like with social media back then?
Oh my gosh.
Back when Lute couldn't win the big one. Even though he'd been to Final Fours, he still couldn't win the big one until he won the big one. And with Sean, maybe he would have gotten there if it wasn't for some of the off field or off the court stuff. I kind of feel the same way about Tommy. I think he's got the program. He's recruiting well enough. I think he's a good enough coach. He's got a very entertaining product that's easy to root for, that with enough quality at bats, one of these times that ball's going to get through the middle. He's going to hit a home run. Something's going to happen. Again, some of it's luck, and that's kind of one of the underrated pieces. Nobody wants to talk about it. Why'd you win the title? Why'd you go here? Why'd you get eliminated? It's a little bit of just random chance sometimes. And I was talking to Matt Mulebach about that in Las Vegas. That was part of his, we were having dinner with him in Las Vegas, and he was like, he was trying to work on his 5 keys to going, deep in the NCAA tournament for the Pac-12 network broadcast. And, number 5 was just flat out luck. Whether that's the other dude banking in a 3-point shot, like Clemson did last night, or sometimes your guys just have historically unconscionably bad shooting nights. And that has happened to Arizona way more than anybody would like, way more than Brody Dryden can remember because he wasn't born. But that's been a trend going back to Steve Kerr.
That's why, Anthony, I think you can't have a team that relies on the jump shot to win in March. I think you have to have a team that granted guards that can hit shots, you got to have them, but that can't be the sole thing offensively. I think you got to have more guys like Jaden Bradley who will take the ball to the basket and get to the line 9 times. I think I'd like to see more guards like that. It's something obviously we haven't seen from Kylan Boswell in 2 seasons. He's not a guard that gets to the free throw line very much at all. He can't absorb. Bradley's obviously a little bit bigger. He can absorb that punishment, and he can still get the ball up to the rim and give yourself at least a chance to at least get a basket or potentially get to the foul line and get some free points there. I think you got to have more guys like that on this roster moving forward that are not afraid to take it into the lane.
Yeah, and you're probably going to need more guys like that as we move into the Big 12, where things get much more intense, physical, dealing with a lot of length. But yeah, to your point, Bradley was by far the best player on the court yesterday for Arizona, and kind of wish he had played even a few more minutes. I'm not sure what the final total was, but it probably wasn't enough because he and Boswell are very different. Kylan prefers to shoot the 3, and when he does drive, it's usually for a little mid-range one-hander.
Right.
Where Bradley is, if he's putting the ball on the court, he is not stopping until somebody stops him with contact and a foul, or he's all the way to the rim. So 2 very different approaches. And then Bradley showed he was the only one hitting 3-pointers yesterday too, and then he hasn't been particularly prolific at that. But he was terrific. I think the problem, you can say, yeah, you definitely want more guys who can create like that and get stuff when everything else is falling apart. And that's your default. That's your hedge against a bad shooting night. But this team wasn't, their 3-point percentage over the course of the season was pretty good, but they didn't live with that. And then when Caleb was off, and boy was he off last night, the second option was Boswell. Because Kylan can fill it up. He can get you 3 or 4 3-pointers during the game when he's on.
Yeah,
that wasn't happening. Now where do you turn? That collective group of starters minus Ballo were 2 of 23 from 3.
Yeah,
and again, they weren't. Well, some of them. Let me back up. Some of them were bad, ill-advised attempts, but many of them were shots that maybe they would normally hit and they didn't.
Anthony Gimino, our guest from PHNX Wildcats. Okay, Anthony, I'll ask you the question of the day. Can Tommy Lloyd recruit over these kids? Can he recruit over Kylan Boswell, Jaden Bradley, and K.J. Lewis with older guards, or does he just need to let them play and build around those guys moving forward?
Yeah, my guess is with the freshman recruits he already has on board, I'm not sure he needs to go out and get a starter in the transfer portal necessarily. He may need to fill in some guys who are willing to play roles and have some depth. But honestly, I'm not. Again, no inside information here. I'm out of that business. But I'd really kind of be surprised if Kylan Boswell's on the team next year. But Bradley starter, yes. Lewis, I think he probably slots into the small forward Pella position. The kid Arizona got the commitment from last week, Joson.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a recruiting buff at all, but boy, as a shooter scorer, he looks like he would probably have a really good chance of being your two guard. And then you also have Jamari Phillips and Carter Bryant maybe filling in the front court. We know Ballo has a potential extra year if he wants it. You also have Krivas. So I think they're pretty well set, but you're going to need to add probably some experienced depth pieces. But to your point, recruiting over them, probably not. I think it's more complimentary than go get a superstar.
Anthony, we appreciate you as always. You can find his work at PHNX Wildcats. Anthony Gimino, longtime writer for the Arizona Wildcats. Anthony, we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, David.
Thank you. That's going to wrap up our program for today. Thanks to all of our guests. Anthony Gimino, Travion White-Austin, Brody Dryden coming up in 50 minutes with Arizona baseball. For J.W. Madden, Cricket, I'm David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you Monday, DK on the Sports Tip at 3 o'clock.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather Together, sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet. With earlier collisions, they are in the clearing stages for 22nd Street east of Keno, Irvington and Nogales Highway, 22nd Street and Pantano Parkway, and in the foothills, Swan and Sunrise Drive in Swan. And for your weather, overnight, our 55 is our low. Wind advisory tomorrow, noon to 10 p.m., 81 the high. Easter Sunday, 57 the high with an 80% chance of rain. Breezy and 81 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
This report is